Z-Dog MD and your boy.
Fight the NCCPA, y'all.
He doesn't even know what that is, but we're about to find out because we are live and direct out of the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, Nevada. Not Nevada because that's for punks.
That's right. That's right.
And guess who we're with? Hella PAs. Yo, PAs represent! That's right. PAs are having the, what is it, the AAPA, American Association? Academy. See, you can't be an association anymore. It's all about being an academy because it's that much more fancy. It was the American Academy of Family Physicians as well. And we are at the annual meeting here in Las Vegas. And we have 1,100 people watching us right now. I know, like, and now it's down to 400 again. Suckers! What? So they kindly invited me to do a keynote today, but in the process, these guys won a prize to have lunch with me, which is more like a punishment, don't you think? Because you guys just get to hear me have GERD the entire lunch. And I thought, let's do a live because, you know, we have a photographer, we have the crew from AAPA, and we have a topic, which is maintenance.
I got a good comment already.
What's that?
Philip K. says, a license is when the government takes away your right to do something and then sells it back to you.
That is exactly. Like, oh, you own a car? Well, you need to register the car because you already paid for the car, and therefore you need to pay us again to have the right to use the car. So certification, guys, like the little -C after PA, what does it mean? I mean, what is that thing?
Means you took a test.
Means you took a test
and
passed it. And so when you pass the test, you get to actually have a job, right? Because in all of these folks are PAs or PA students. Like Shirley, you're in Hotlanta. You do what? Oncology, hematology?
Yes.
And you moved from critical care
To oncology.
to oncology because you like that cancer though?
Not necessarily.
You like stomping out cancer.
Yes.
I like that. You like the portacaths and the PICC lines and all of that. But the idea that you have the little -C after your name means you took the test, you passed it. And now what happens after 10 years or so, or 8 years, or 6 years, or whenever you have to recert? What do you have to do?
Well, now you have to take what's called the PAN-RE, and you guys can jump in also. Basically, a recertification test, the test that you took to initially get certified.
So a similar test.
Right.
But at this point, you have specialized in something, right? So maybe you're in orthopedics. Maybe, what do you want to specialize in?
I was thinking crit care, but I'm not sure.
Crit care? She's even got the abbreviation down. She's like, yeah, no, crit care, because, you know, critical is too long a word to say. No, so critical care or crit care, and let's say you become a pro in that. Now in what is it, 6 years, 10 years? What are they pushing?
It used to be 6 years, they moved it to 10.
They moved it to 10. So every 10 you got to recertify. You now got to take a test that asks you about screening criteria for colon cancer.
Right.
Or,
and I get that a lot in orthopedics.
And you get it a ton in orthopedics, right? Because, you know, we all know that once you go into ortho, it's just like drill, bone, and smash.
That's right.
Me smash bone on the daily though. And so the question is it fair? Does it actually improve patient care? Now, here's the twist, CPAC, and this is why this is an incident report. It's because the organizations that do the recertification, and this is true with our PAs, and this is true with our MDs, make money from administering the test and doing the certification. Is that a conflict when the data is not clear that forcing physicians and PAs and nurse practitioners to recertify using a standardized test actually improves patient care and outcomes beyond the continuing medical education that we always do? Or an alternative way to prove that you are not totally off the rails as a practitioner? Now, here's the argument. If you're going to spend $500 or in the medical case, $3,500 to ongoing maintenance of certification, why should you do that? And if they are now pushing in multiple states, right, to actually force certification to be a requirement to practice, what happens when you fail the recert test?
You take it again.
How soon can you take it again?
I want to say 3 to 6 months.
6 months is what I heard.
Yeah.
So think about this, guys. You are forced by your state to, you are unable to practice unless you're certified. And that's what they're lobbying for. The same organization that you pay to take the test is lobbying states to say we must require certification to practice. Now, if you fail the test, You can take it again, but you're uncertified until you do. And in 6 months, you can't practice. You don't have a job. This organization has the power to remove your livelihood from you. Now, look, I'm not much of a libertarian, but I am on this. What do you think, Tom
Listen,
Heineberg?
Peggy says you shouldn't go expecting evidence-based decisions, Z-Dog, all right?
You know what? Maybe my standards are too high. Maybe my standards are too high. What other comments do we have?
Let's see.
You guys are adorable. They're so nice. Every one of them had a beautiful story about being a PA.
Says, there's now a huge division between AAPA and NCCPA. Listen, they told me not to say it was
Hold
a
on,
civil war.
let's flip this around.
But you know what it is.
Let's flip this around. Hold on. We're going to do this. We're going to do this right now. Oh, damn it. Hold on. I know how to work
I
this.
shouldn't let you operate
No,
this
it's
camera.
this, and then it's this.
Terrible.
No, we're going to do this, Tom Heineberg. We're going to flip that, and we're going to horizontal flip. There.
Boom.
Look at that. Just say no to NCCPA state lobbying. Now, what is NCCPA? They are the accrediting body for PAs. And so when they say, you know, let's lobby state governments and say you have. Why is this doing this, Tom? Make this stop. There we go. Let me fix that.
There you go.
And then you got to do that, and then it'll stop.
Yeah.
There it is. There's a conflict there because they're saying, okay, we're going to require certification, and then we're going to charge people for certification. There should be choice. There should be options, right? So this is a discussion that we're having. Now, if you guys want to talk about that, feel free. Just pitch in right now.
Well, I think my biggest frustration is that we've politicized medicine across everything so much.
No.
That we're not basing things based on evidence, we're basing them based on who has the most money. And so since the NCCPA is paying money to the governments to lobby, they get to make some of the rules.
You know, you are looking at an NCCPA shill right here, so I take umbrage at that. Okay. No, I mean, I think that's the concern is that money sort of is tarnishing the stuff. Now, let me fix this because it's hard for me to manage it with, boop, there we go. So, all right, the bottom line, by the way, you're from Alaska, yes?
I am. I'm from Anchorage, Alaska.
That is a place.
Yes, that is a place.
Yes, and you work with the NUCA, the Indian Health Service?
Yeah, yes, so I'm under the broad umbrella of the Indian Health Service. I work for South Central Foundation, which I actually really love working there. They're wonderful, and my coworkers are the best, but there's a lot of politics.
Yeah, so you know because it's a government-funded entity or a state-funded entity?
It's federally funded.
Federally funded,
And, of
yeah.
course, insurance, right?
Yeah.
Gotta build insurance.
Now, one of the things that I've learned about this organization is that they have a very 3.0 collaborative, community-based mindset because you have an exclusively sort of indigenous Native American population. Yeah?
Right,
Yeah.
right. So there's a couple exceptions, but for the most part, we see
Got it.
Native Alaskans, American natives, and their descendants.
So if I walk in and stereotype and go, I'm just going to get my igloo on right now, can I get care?
No.
I like to profile. I like to Eskimo profile.
Well, I don't get care there either.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, were you born in Alaska?
I was.
Wow, and lived there most of your life? Or
Yep.
all your life? That's amazing. Well, thank you for everything you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now, let's see here, Tom Heineberg, what do you got for some comments?
Let's see. Anything that involves politics is corrupt. Well, yeah.
You think?
That's just basic math. I mean,
But we're going to drain the swamp, aren't we, Shirley?
We're trying to.
I don't know what kind of swamp we're going to drain. I'm busy draining abscesses. Like, that's enough of a swamp, right? And anyone else want to tell their story about what they're doing? You had an interesting story, I recall. Orthopedics. So,
Orthopedics.
are you just filthy rich?
Absolutely not.
Do you have a lyric?
I work in Pennsylvania. We get paid the least.
Pennsylvania gets paid the least.
One of the lower.
Why is that?
Malpractice insurance in Pennsylvania is through the roof for physicians, which also go down to PAs.
Wow.
Physicians in high specialties.
Or go up to PAs if you're understanding the hierarchy correct, because you know PAs are on top. Do you like my pandering?
I do.
I
Love
like it too.
let's see. Derek says NCCPA is using my money to lobby so they can get more of my money.
Exactly.
Yo, the rich
Where's my
get
button?
richer.
Where's my
the
button?
It's backwards again, son. Just like all the politics involved in this deadly game. Let's see here. Now, you as a student, Doggy, what is your biggest concern moving forward in terms of entering the workforce and the healthcare system that you've seen so far? Because you've been in the game, what, a year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you worried about stuff? Are you excited? What's the deal?
I'm still excited right now where I'm at. You guys are a lot more jaded than I am at this moment. But I am definitely concerned for our patients and wanting to practice medicine and then being restricted by insurance companies and being told that I can't give someone what I think that they need because they can't afford it. That's just every single day, though, for all of us.
Yeah, so it's like, can we as practitioners actually have the autonomy to deliver the care that we think our patients need, knowing what we know, which is a lot of training, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of caring and compassion. Now, a lot of people will say money always enters the question. So if you're in a fee-for-service world, you're doing things to patients just to generate revenue, right? And it's not even a conscious thing, it's a conditioning because human behavior is what it is. So I would argue that there's no role for fee-for-service except in very limited circumstances in Health 3.0. It's really fee for outcome. We have to generate outcomes that matter to patients and to society in order to get paid. What do you think, Tom Hahnemann?
Oleg says, let's make medicine great again, y'all.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to make medicine, period, at this point, because the struggle is real. Other comments, Tom?
Let's see. Somebody wants you to talk about the role of NPs versus PAs. So what's your take on the two differences?
NPs versus PAs?
Yeah.
Well, NPs, what's that?
Keep in mind where you are.
Keep in mind where I am. Well, there's an interesting distinction. In my mind, they train in different. Yeah, I mean, we're all part of a team, and we all have our particular attributes and specialties and strengths. Nurse practitioners train in a nursing model, which is a different approach to the same and different problems. And y'all train in a medical model. And so it's very, very different. I work with both groups. I find my feeling is all should practice at the top of their license where they are as part of a team, is collaborating and supporting each other. And when we do that, we find there's just that much more lift on the airplane, right? And there's plenty of space to do this. It always kind of bothers me when people worry about turf, because turf to me implies that there are so many doctors and not enough patients. But it's more that we do too much stuff to people when that's the case, and not enough stuff for people who actually need it. So if we can focus on a team-based, collaborative, preventative model, that is Health 3.0, and it involves PAs and NPs and Magnum PA, because he's dope, because he has a mustache.
Let's see, Christian wants to know, what do you think about the new Missouri law that creates assistant physicians, not a PA, for MD/DO grads who didn't match into a residency program?
So you guys, have you heard about this thing? Yeah, so if you, I recently did a Harry Potter parody clip about not matching the sorcerer's match.
The Sorting Hat.
The Sorting Hat. So he's like, oh, and I made a joke in there saying, everyone here, there's no reason to cry. It was Minerva McGonagall. He's like, there's no reason to cry. Everyone will be into the specialty they want, except for those who did not match. They are complete losers. And I was just joking, but man, did I get some emails from people who did not match. And they were actually like, I really laughed at your thing, but I just want to let you know I didn't match and it sucks, and so on. So people who don't match in the match means they just weren't sorted into the residency of their choice for whatever reason. Maybe they chose, the list didn't really match what their aptitudes were. There's a million reasons, right? Now, what's happening, was it Maryland? Missouri.
Missouri.
So what Missouri's saying is, look, we're understaffed, we're underserved. Why don't we create a role for people who didn't do residency, who've gone through medical school, and say we call them, what was it, assistant physicians, or physician something. It was like the backwards of PA, which, by the way, it's now really just PA. Even physician assistant is probably too much. It's just, y'all are PAs, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Production assistant. And
Personal assistant.
pimp assistant.
Ah,
Personal assistant, I need one of those.
Let's do this from Taylor. Aspiring PA here. Any tips about the application and interview process? Let's ask the PAs.
Yeah, let's talk about it, but I just want to close the loop on that assistant physician thing. Look, if it helps staffing, great, but honestly, without doing a residency, it is very hard to do real medicine, just so you guys know. All right? All right, now the question is, any tips on what, interviewing?
Application and interview
For
process.
PA, now you're closest to it, tell me.
Practice. Create interview questions that you think you might be asked, and practice it so you're not so awkward when you get there.
Tell us your name, by the way, just so
My
they
name's
know.
Megan.
Megan, do you want to say your last name too, or?
Sure, Megan Berry. Dan.
Megan. I like that. And now you, my friend, what's your name again?
Ricky.
Ricky Bobby?
Sure. People call me Ricky Bobby.
Hey, Ricky Bobby.
The go-to.
You are the first year PA student at Rush University. Tell me why and how you got in and what you would advise. Ricky
Well,
Bobby.
I was like, make sure you do application very early on. Just get all your things together so that hopefully you have quite a few interviews, and then that way when you hopefully get a couple, you can practice with one, and then you get more comfortable as you go through other interview processes, and then you kind of gain your confidence.
Awesome. And for those of you guys who are wondering, Ricky Bobby is South African, hence the cool accent.
Yeah.
So,
Also, Michelle wants to know if Ricky's single. What's up?
I'm not single, but thanks. I'm flattered.
all the single PAs, all the single PAs, all the single PAs, all the single. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm gonna make him so. Look at that. Red as a beat. That's what we do.
Yes.
Now that's awesome. Thank you for your insight.
Absolutely.
So other comments, Tom Heineber.
Let's see. PA infectious disease here in Florida. So fed up with NCCPA robbing me for no apparent reason. That's why I'm wearing this button for you. Okay?
It says, "Suck it, NCCPA." Yeah, I mean, I think, look, the sense I got when I hit the floor here is people were grabbing me and they're like, "Hey, can we do a selfie? Also, can we tell you about how jacked up this thing is?" And part of the problem is it's generating conflict in a group of people that really ought to be together on stuff, right? And so I think at the simplest, if we start transcending the politics and come up with an answer that works for accreditation and holding you guys accountable for being amazing PAs, keeping our patients safe, that's the primary thing, while not enriching some chump who sits on a throne. I don't know if that exists, but it does in medicine, maintenance of certification, American Board of Internal Medicine, you crooks! Sorry, I didn't mean to say that, I meant to think it, but now I said it, and so 652 people can tell the world.
This is a great one from Mike Maxwell. Medical student here. My fiance is a PA student graduating in August, and she is much more prepared for clinical medicine than I am fresh out of medical school.
I agree, because you guys have what, like a concentrated 27-month, 30-month training, and it focuses on actually doing ish, right? Yes. So you're not mentally masturbating about, well, Occam's razor says the simplest diagnosis is that. No, you're like, no, this is how you put a chest tube in. Or this is how you help with an orthopedic procedure. Or this is how you talk to parents about vaccines, because you take care of little kids.
I do.
Apparently kids who live in igloos.
No, that's, I think, in Canada.
Oh, yeah. I stereotyped. I've said before, Canadians are the only terrorists we should worry about. We should build a wall against the Canadian border because they are musical terrorists. Because one word, 2 syllables, Nickelback. And that actually may be 3 syllables, but the way I say it, Nickelback. They're terrorists. Excellent. And I think on that note, Tom, were there other comments?
I think we can wrap it up.
I think we're going to wrap this. We have 666 viewers, which is the number of the beast, which is good, because we're all about love. Tom Heineber?
I think we're out, y'all. Say bye.
Guys,
to the PA.
say bye. Bye. Respect to everyone. I consider myself a physician extender. And we out. How do I make this turn off, Tom? I think I pressed that, and then I did. There it is. Bye.
I'm not going to help. I'm just going to watch.